It was a good experience. Like, you like it?
Nope. It was toxic as fuck.
I don't know how to pronounce your last name, so it's Savio Faschet.
No, it's actually easier. It's French, so it's Faschet. Faschet.
Fache. Savio Fache.
It's really easy. It's really easy.
Like, I'm like dragged from the waist up because I'm totally like with the crop top and everything, but waist down I'm with in pajama, like I just put
I'm
something.
also.
Yeah, I'm pajama, but from the waist up, it's like, yeah, using the good stuff and the jewels and the things, but from the waist down, it's like pijama, like panda pijama. Hola, mis queridos pececitos, pececitas y pececitas del internet. Soy Alonso Tipacti, su Sirenotuber, su contratenor favorito de las redes. Y hoy estoy aquí acompañado por una persona maravillosísima que hace mucho tiempo conozco y que estaba muy feliz de finalmente poder conocernos por videollamada y finalmente poder compartir este espacio. Y para hacer la advertencia, esta entrevista va a estar en inglés porque Savio habla portugués, yo hablo español, así que hemos encontrado el punto medio en el inglés y va a ponerle subtítulos. Dicho eso, voy a empezar a hablar en inglés en este punto. So, hi Savio, how are you doing today?
Hello. I'm so surprised I could understand maybe
Most,
80% of what you were talking.
I
So
remember that
sometimes,
the first time that we spoke on the phone, we tried for a moment like Portuguese, Spanish, and we're like, yeah, I think and you said a lot of things. I was like, yeah, I think I got it. I think I got it. So it's
yes, we
close
got
enough.
stuff, but it's easier to get misunderstood. So it's better for us to do it in English because it's my first interview in English yet. But I do gave lessons. I do give lessons in English. So sometimes the verbs are not perfect. So go on, but we can still speak in
Out
English.
of curiosity, it's common for people in Brazil. I've never been to Brazil, so it's common to people in Brazil to speak English, like because here is like something that most of the schools teach and most of the people
Mhm.
sort of know. But for example, in Argentina, it wasn't like that. So,
Here, our higher education is free. You can even be a
mm,
doctor, you pay nothing, you get paid to study. So, if this person went to college, which is a lot by now, most people my age went to college. Most people my age are already doing master's degree or being
mm,
doctors. In my area, people normally in opera don't do just the graduation, which is what I did because I have a career now and I can't do a master's right now. But normally, yes. In our field, yes. Outside of our field, not so much.
oh,
But we
okay.
can understand Spanish. We can communicate, but
Mm.
it's easier to get misunderstood and lose stuff. And I know it's easier for me to understand you than it is for you to understand me because Portuguese is more. It's weird because I'm from
Yeah,
Minas Gerais, which is
no way.
a district that eats the words. So we don't say
Oh, so there's different
stuff like,
accents. Like there are different accents.
yes,
Like,
because Brazil is huge. It's the biggest one in
mm,
South America. It's almost
mm.
the size of the United States. So it's really
Yeah,
huge
it's a
country. So we
mega
have
country. It's super
a
enormous.
lot. Yes, we have about
Mm.
20 different accents, and I have
Yeah,
the
I
one
guess.
of the hardest.
Talking now about you and your life because that's the important point here. So I was reading your bio, and apparently you have been involved with music since pretty early age because you were in a production of, I'm sure I'm not gonna say it right, Peleas en Melisande, the Debussy.
Yeah.
You you were, I guess, in the child as soloist, right? So you were what age?
Yes, in
Like,
the
how
old.
old were you?
I was 8, but I was already singing when I was 6. I was singing mostly in Latin. I didn't even sing in Portuguese when I was a kid because when you were a kid singing in choirs and Catholic Church, you don't
Mm,
sing in Portuguese here in Brazil. You sing only in Latin and sometimes you sing in Portuguese. But I was the main soloist from a region that is called Vale do Jequitinhonha, which is
mm,
high up in my district. My district is really huge. It's the size of a normal country around here in South America. I believe it's the same size of maybe Bolivia or something
mm,
close. It's not as big as Argentina because Argentina is huge, but it's a huge district. It's not the
Mhm.
biggest like Amazonas, but it's huge. So I would travel around this district singing in Latin and stuff. They saw me. They thought it's the best we can get here because, in South America we do stuff with what we have because opera is
Mhm.
really expensive to do. So I did Peliai Melisande. I was 8. I was teach to speak in English and French when I was
Mhm.
this small because let's face it, my family did have money because people don't sing opera at early age if your family don't have
The
bank
money
like
to access the studies and the
bank.
stuff that you
It's
need.
not just money, it's bank because my family did have money. We lost everything. It's common knowledge right now.
Oh,
So I
thanks for
did
sharing.
I did kept part of my education involved in music, but I live today in a community which is a favela in Brazil, which is super known. People make it seems that it is so
Yeah,
dangerous.
like it's.
It is
Yeah.
not actually. It's so chill. In my state, of course, in Rio de Janeiro, it really can get dangerous. But my family did have lots of money, so I was alphabetized. I don't know how to translate it. Eu
Yeah,
fui
you learn to
alfabetizado
alphabetize. Yeah, but I get it. Yeah,
in
everyone's
English
getting
and
it.
French and Portuguese. So I could speak some French today. I don't know what single word. So I did Iniol because I could speak some French, which was easy because Iniol is not an easy role. I don't know how I did it because I couldn't sing on tune properly because when I got to college, I was 17, 18. I have a video of me singing Pia Yesu,
Yeah,
um,
Weber,
Forré,
Lloyd
and
Lloyd
it was,
Weber,
my
or
pitch was the
that's
Forré
all
one.
over the place.
It was all over the place. So I believe when I was a kid, the pitch was not good. But Iniol is about that. It's a kid that can remember the lines.
Mhm. I'm gonna just say this is coming a little bit out of the topic, but I just want to mention it because it's so funny because here in Peru, like there's not exactly the same thing as favelas, but my I have like let's say an adoptive family which are from an indigenous community that is originally from the Amazonian forest, but some part of it lives here in Peru and they live in the city, but in the most here we said cono. That I don't know how to translate that. It's like the outside of the city, like the most
Uh,
rural. It's not so rural actually. It's city, but it's
hmm.
poorer. But yeah, there's
Countryside.
yeah, something like that. And people also have this like mythol. I go there all the time to see my family, and people have like this mythology. Like it's like super dangerous, and
It is
I don't know
not.
what crazy shit happened there. It's like okay, there are parts that are dangerous indeed, but most of it is like normal. Like you can walk and nothing will happen. And
It's
but
not.
people
It's
is
not
like
like that. And
yeah,
it's
because I
not
always
every
heard
single one.
yeah, it's not all the area. The area is huge, and there are different parts, and they're safer, more dangerous, like any normal district in any normal city. But I always heard from Brazil, like, yeah, the favelas, and it's
Oh,
like,
it's so
are you sure it's like that?
dangerous. If
Yeah.
it was, we have um, 250 million people living here.
Oh
If it
my
was
god.
that, because that dangerous, people may say, oh, but Brazil have 50,000 assassinations a year or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure. But we have almost 300 million people living here. So it
It's a
is a
lot, yeah.
huge country, you guys. It's so big. It's the fifth biggest in Earth. The fifth biggest in Earth.
It's
The
huge.
only ones that are bigger are Canada, United States, China, and Russia.
Russia?
And
Yeah. Yeah, no, here's the same thing. Like people does see it sees it out of proportion. Like there's a lot of news like, oh, a murder or robbery happened in that district, and the district is huge, like huge. So you go to that district, it's like, oh my god, super dangerous. It's like, no, this is a huge district. Things happen, but it's like, I don't
yes,
know, 50 kilometers away from here. But well, outside of the politics, economics of Latin America, you were singing since you were a little child and then you never stopped singing, like you grew up, never stopped singing. There was like we're gonna go to the juice of everyone. What everyone wants to know is like there was a change in the voice, like you sang at some point in a lower register and then came back, or there was like boy soprano, guy
Yeah.
soprano, gay soprano, no, guy soprano. Sorry.
What happens normally with people that sing as kids? I believe maybe Sensic was the same
Yeah,
way
Tenchik was the
because we
same. I
did
was going to say that.
we start singing stuff. I wasn't singing as hard of a repertoire as Sensic or those kids in Europe because they sing.
Yeah,
They
Tenchik,
sing
I
stuff.
think he recorded Mahler. He recorded one of the symphonies from Mahler that has a solo for
Yes.
a child. Yeah, and
And
he was like
Yao
10
sing.
years old. It was like, okay.
They sing repertoire.
Yeah.
It's not like us. We are singing little solos in quiet, which is not easy, which is a dignified way of making music. Don't get me wrong. It's not easy, but they sing repertoire that is not made to be sung at that age if you want to
Mm,
have a huge career, because you do have a prime. So some people waste their prime when they are kids. It can happen because
yeah, of
you
course.
are singing by feeling. I was taking classes in horse riding, which is hipismo in Portuguese,
Mm,
gymnastics, French, English. There were opera, piano, but I dropped out the piano because I couldn't. And grima, which is
Esgrima.
fencing.
Yeah, in Spanish it's esgrima too.
So lots of stuff. So I did really have a high education. So I was all the time doing stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff. What happens when you are singing in a higher level, not Europe high level, South America high level
Higher level.
of singing, is that you stop when you get to the muda, which is the vocal change.
The change. Mm.
Stop for 2 to 5, 4 or 5 years. What happens to me was I was 16. I was singing in a spectacle which was involved more acting than singing. It was called Alicia. It was 2012 or maybe before. I had to sing a high E flat,
Yeah.
which is an E flat 6 in American notation, E flat 5 in Brazilian notation.
Mm.
We are on a
Ah, you
favola.
use a different. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, different notation.
Well, it's
It's
the one that has two extra lines. You know, no, two
yes,
extra
yes.
lines
It's
over the.
the same Violeta does. Optional high E that Maria Callas was famous for doing. Of course, not with
Of
the
course.
same quality. I was a kid. Get
I'm
over it.
sure it sounds lovely.
Oh, lovely, amazing.
I'm
It was
sure.
just as good as Maria.
Maria who?
it was a, it was a thin projected nasal sound. It was cute. It sounds more rock stuff than
Mm,
really opera stuff.
mm,
And then I felt I'm feeling weird. I'm feeling
mm,
weird. And then I got sick, which is something that happens a lot with me when I'm finishing a gig, because my body is, I can't get sick. I can't get sick. I can't
mm,
get sick. How are my tonsils today? And then you get to the mirror with a light, and then you light it up and you look at the tonsils. Oh no, my tonsils are good. I do this since I'm 10 because I'm
mm,
singing for so long. So it's a level of stress. You're like in a
mm,
plane, holding the plane. You can't fall. You can't fall.
mm.
You can't fall. And then I got sick, which is something that happens a lot with me to this day. But at that time, it was the first time, so I got really sick, and I stayed this way for about 2 weeks. My tonsils were huge, and then I tried to sing a high C. It didn't come out. I couldn't sing anything with ease. I could scream the high C. To
No,
this
no.
day, I can't. I can, but I couldn't sing it with ease. Anything above the F, the fa. So it was really traumatic. And then I start singing the sopranist repertoire again, the choir stuff. I couldn't, and then I just naturally stopped because I didn't have repertoire to sing. I didn't. I wasn't an alto. I was a really high soprano, really, really,
How
really,
how
really, really high.
how old you were at that point where all of these things happened?
I believe between 15, 16, something like that. It was late, but what happened is that the chess voice didn't come in the way people expected to come. What did happen is that I lost the super acuti. I didn't gain lots of chest voice because there's something that people don't know is that I did hormonal treatment also. So I was applying testosterone under the armpits, so my um, puberty would happen because I'm not um,
Oh, so,
I'm natural high soprano. I'm not as you can
yeah, it's
say.
yeah, like you didn't hit well, but like at that moment you didn't hit puberty, so like is your body stayed like your vocal
Yes.
cords stay like the let's say the kid's voice for even though you were
Mhm.
growing up.
But I did have
Oh.
hormonal treatment because me and my family at the time wanted me to have more quality of life. Because when you are a man that have a problem with hormones, and you keep it up without doing the hormonal treatment, normally you have more difficulty at keeping weight off. You have more difficulty getting muscle. You have
No,
more
muscle
difficulty
mass.
in muscle mass. Your bones are not that healthy because
Oh.
it is important. So my bones today are fine. I have pubic hair on my face. I have lots of muscle mass. I weigh more than 100 pounds, 200 pounds. I weigh 92 kilograms, something 93 kilograms, and I'm not that tall, but I'm really, really strong. I know it doesn't show up on camera, but I'm really fit,
We believe you.
guys.
We believe you. I'm gonna
Part of
tell
the
the audience that
appeal.
they can go watch your stories when you're all shirtless in the mirror selfies, like, like
It's
showing off
part
the chest,
of
showing
the
off.
appeal of my career today. The fact that I'm a countertenor, I can sing high, but I have abs and stuff, so it's part of my appeal. Because our our characters, they are like that. They're fit and stuff, so it
Well,
is good for me.
all our now all like I think opera, like all singing careers are much more like how they say this, like advocated to the look part, so you have to have an image and yeah, and always like I don't know, muscular is popular. I don't now the industry asks even more than before the looks, being pretty, being fit, being something like that. So it's part of, I guess, it's part of the job. Say it, but.
Uh,
But the hormonal treatment was for a healthy reason, like, or
for a health reason, because I wouldn't have as much quality of life as a man, because you
okay.
want to be able to have kids. You want to be able to have muscle mass as a man. You want to be able to not keep weight too much, because if I didn't, I would have really a really hard time getting the weight off, because when you have low testosterone, this can happen. You guys, it
Okay.
can happen. So I would pop high C's all the time, but I wouldn't be. Um, I don't know if I wouldn't be happy, but I wouldn't have as much of quality of life. So the
Mm.
treatment was for this. And today I have guns. I may not have the best high C in the market, but I have guns.
No, but
And
a voice is you're more than a high C. You have other notes.
but I do have a high C, so I didn't
But
lose that much. But if I didn't have made the treatment, I would look not as good, but I would sing higher for sure. But what happened? I got sick for about 2 weeks,
Mhm.
And then I couldn't sing anything above F, and I didn't have repertoire. So we naturally, oh, let's stop singing for a while. And this for a while lasted for about till I get to college. And then I went to college because here in Brazil, again, education is free. Did went to college. I sung the Piezo I talked about.
Mhm.
It was completely out of tune, but the voice was there, and it was
Oh.
huge because for a countertenor, I believe because of my treatment, my voice is not small as a countertenor. It is a huge voice for a countertenor. It doesn't sound good in recordings for some reason. It's something that
Well,
happens more
I
with
think
sopranists.
something that happens like me, a friend of mine and myself also had pretty huge voices, so it's really hard to record them properly. Like,
Yes.
when I record, it's like all the harmonics, all the vibes that are on the back of the voice, they don't get through the recording, so my voice sounds really like, I don't know, it's like really.
Yes.
It's like, and I'm always hearing the recordings. I'm like, oh shit, I don't sound like that. Like, I have a huge
What
voice,
I
but it
do,
doesn't get through. It's really hard to record it.
it doesn't get through. But what I do realize is that the contratenors in Brazil, we tend to be even more metallic than the contratenors around the rest of South
Mm.
America, even for reasons because of the culture. I don't know, but in Argentina, the contratenors they sound more rounded. They have this
Yes, dude,
beautiful
they
sound.
sound really like,
It's more
they
yes, it's
really
more
feel like that.
European. They are more
Yes.
European in terms of
Mm.
sound. Um, I'm not sure,
Yeah,
but
but
even you have a more rounded sound than me. Now I'm changing that because because of a rebranding I'm trying out. But
mhm,
my is too upfront. But I'm trying not to let it be that upfront because
mhm.
everyone likes Caruso and Tetrazzini and theory. But when you try to get a job singing with the old school technique, which was what I tried to do for a long time, you just get denied. So I have failed bills to pay. So will I be the singer that will sing with the technique of the century, of the 20th century, with that sound, or will I be the singer that can pay rent? So
Yeah,
I
that's
choose
that's the
the
thing.
second
Like,
one.
I think like there's an idea of how countertenors should sound based on what the industry wants now for countertenors to sound. So they want, if you are like, I have seen this a lot. It happened to me too. Like, if you have a voice that is not what is expected to sound for a countertenor, you have a more like I'm not sure how to got to explain this in English, but I know you get me. Like a voice that is more not that round like woo sound, but more like I don't. I think it. I believe like you said the European a moment ago. I think like Latin singer have this more like I don't know, Latinish, Latin tenor sound, like it's more like in the front, really close to the speak. It's not that bubble on the back. But I think like what industry wants now for countertenors is that bubble on the back, and be like,
Things are changing now with Bruno de Sá, which is a fellow Brazilian. I never met him,
yeah,
but things are changing with Bruno, and now with that boy
Samuel.
from no, it's not
No,
Samuel. Of course, with Samuel, of course. But I
because
was
everyone has mentioned me Samuel like 33 times this month, and I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, and okay, he's great, but everyone mentioned me because he did this like
hmm,
documentary for the I don't know which network, and like 15 people have sent it to me, and like, guys, I know who he is. I have followed him before he became like famous. Like, I know who he is.
me also. We
But
always know each other before we
yeah, we
go
know each
up.
other before because there's not
We,
that many. And when you start having, like, that's how I know you. Like, you appear on my timeline in Instagram. It's like, oh, friend, like, hi.
then we go to Operalia, or then we do a video that blown up, and oh, he's so famous. No one must know him. It's not like that, guys. We all know each other. We know every single contractor because we are not that many. But this happens a lot. So things are changing with Bruno Samuel, of course, and that one.
Yeah, what's the other one?
He's from Europe.
Where is he from? What?
He's from Spain. He was singing Se Romeo tu Tivesse Filho. He's really young. He has a
Really? From
yes, he's really young. He has a
It's
video
not
on
Victor
YouTube.
Jimenez, no? No.
No, it's not. Is Ortega?
Ortega?
No, it's not Ortega. I don't know. I know him. I follow him. I have him on Instagram and Facebook. He's really great, but things are changing with these new voices, and they
Yes,
are all
yes, totally.
Latin. Even when they are from up there in Europe, they are from Spain and stuff with this open sound, which allows
Yeah,
us to
more
sing
different
high.
repertoire and not just high and big and not just like
Mhm.
small repertoire like Renaissance music or Baroque music, but opera. You know, when Bruno did, he did Stefano from Romeo y Julieta from Gounod. Like I was so excited because I have sung that aria a lot, and I always that was at some point that was like my how in Spanish we said caballito de batalla, but I'm not sure how to just like the
Your
area
to
you
go
use for
warrior. Your to
yeah,
go
your
warrior.
to go area. Yeah, to go area. Yeah, that. And I always sing that, and I always had this like issue with university and master classes and teachers because there was like, but this is not baroque. Like, where is Handel? And I was like, I don't have any Handel. Like, this is my best. I want to hear me in my best, and I have this huge like fight with I'm not gonna say names with important baritone from the industry that he gave a master class in my university. I sang that. I wanted to sing that, and he was like, "No, I don't want you to sing this because this is not for you. This is not for your boys." I was just like, "This is my best. Like, I actually rock this area. I can do it really good." And had this huge fight was many years ago. And now that Bruno is doing the role in I don't know which a professional company and is debuting the role as a countertenor, for me was like, oh, I'm so happy this is happening.
It
I'm gonna
happens a
cry.
lot. It happened at the same time. The same thing happened with me with Noble Seigneur Salut and No 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 Vous n'avez jamais gage. I used to sing this really well when I was really young, about 17 or stuff, because it was too high even for Baroque repertoire. Of course, I could sing some Farinelli stuff, but this gets you just at some point of your career, because when you have to prepare repertoire in the academia, in the school, you have to have different languages. So what
Mhm.
am I going to sing in operatic repertoire? In German, in English? No, English is easier because you have Handel. But
Yes.
in German and French, because the French didn't have castrati and they didn't have contratenors in operatic stuff. So you have to sing something like Stefano. You have to sing something mm, like the Folie
Ac-
aria, which is really
Actually, they
high.
have the French are the ones that have most trouser roles. So, like, you have to sing one of those roles. You know, like they say,
Yes,
like mezzo or
because you
sopranos. Is
don't have the castrati there, so you have to sing something. I sing now Orfeo in
yeah, no,
French, but
yeah.
Orfeo is in
I
French and
prefer it
Italian,
in
but it is
French.
I like it more in Italian, but I sing it in
Really?
French because I need repertoire. If I'm going to a competition, they ask three different languages from four different periods of time. So we can sing only Baroque and contemporary. What else? Some
Yeah.
Rossini and what else? What I'm doing now is that I'm singing in Russian. I'm singing the aria from Vanya from
Mhm.
A Life for the Tsar, which is
Yeah.
Bernikov Polipal, which is a really good aria for lower voices. But I'm not a lower voice, but I have
You
decent
do
low.
what you can.
I
What
do
what? Sorry.
I do what I can because I have to sing in these languages in this because people don't understand that. But because the competitions are not made for us when you are going to do your subscription. Soprano? contralto, mezzo sometimes. There is not even mezzo sometimes. It's soprano, contralto, tenor,
Tenor,
baritone, and
baritone,
bass.
bass.
Or sometimes not even baritone. Contratenors, really difficult to have. Sopranists like myself, because I'm a lower sopranist. I'm not that kind of, but still, I'm not a pure contratenor. But I'm not a high sopranist like Bruno or Kimon, which are really high voices with really different sounds and techniques. But still,
Mm,
clearly sopranos. I'm a lower soprano, but still, there's no sopranist box. If I do
no,
the soprano stuff, they will do the same thing they did with you, which is
no.
you shouldn't sing that. So it's
Yeah.
really difficult. People don't understand that, and they may say, "Oh, you were stealing repertoire from the castrati." I sing mostly stuff written for myself because I do movies and stuff here in Brazil, small movies
Mm,
and plays. I'm an actor, so people like to write for me. I'm doing
mm,
right now an opera movie from a composer called Josie de
yeah.
Oliveira. She was the creator
The,
of
tres,
electronic
tres
music in
minutos?
Brazil.
No.
It 3 minutos de sol I did in
Mhm,
2020 for Leonardo Martinelli. It was my first movie, my
mhm,
first opera movie. I did a trans character, a non-binary character. Um, normally I do this kind of character, and people write stuff for me. I'm doing my fourth opera that is written for me because Baroque music is not paying my bills right now. I'm
okay.
going to do Cantoni and Utica
Yeah.
right now in Brazil. It will be the premiere here. It was never done here. I'm not sure if it was ever done in South America. I'm doing Arbace. I believe I just got the score. I don't know the role yet. I
Okay.
just got the score. But I'm doing the role. Um, but stuff works like that. It's really difficult. Baroque music is not paying my bills. People is
Mm,
reading stuff for me, and people just kept saying, you are stealing stuff from the castrati, or you don't have repertoire. That's why you don't have a box to fill because your voice is
mm,
not welcome in opera. People get really, 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 really mad and really mean with countertenor sometimes. And I say, look, I don't have a tenor voice I can sing with. I do not.
not.
Believe me, I tried, and now I'm looking
And
straight up
it's
to the
like
camera.
the
I tried. I do not have a tenor or a baritone voice. I
it's
can't.
it's like the shittiest thing in the world. Sorry, but I totally hate it. Like, well, what's your real voice? And it's like I
That's
have like it's like I cannot compute it because you know what? It's like I have a full mezzo voice that sounds beautiful and it's huge and it's like is that not enough? Like should I have another voice because that's not enough? Like have you ever go to a soprano and say, like how can you sing with your chest and be a contralto? It's like what the fuck? It's not enough.
and look at me right now. I'm telling you, I went to a treatment so I could have the voice you want me to. It
And
didn't work. There's no way. I'm a soprano. I was born. Oh, man, I was
I was
born
born to be a soprano.
I was born to be a soprano. I'm a lower soprano. I believe maybe one day I can build myself a career singing as a contralto, as a mezzo, uh, because I do have really good chest tones because of the hormonal treatment I went through. But still, it is not a tenor voice. We tried, it doesn't behave like that. And I have many cameras put inside of my throat to look it up. I'm not singing in falsetto. Believe me, I have one of the best speech therapists in the whole country, one of the best in South America, which is Patricia Fono Lopez. Patricia Lopez. She is one of the best in Brazil right now. She put cameras inside my throat every now and then, and she always says the same stuff. Yes, you do have chest tones right now, but they are not behaving like a male voice would. It's not like a female voice either, but it's something else. It's not like I'm trying to be a countertenor. I have no choice. I can't say I can't do do that, and I can't. I can't. I tried. I can't.
Mhm.
This is what I have. So I'm not stealing repertoire from the castrati. If there's something that is closer to the castrati, it's myself because I for a long time I couldn't even have kids because I have a really hormonal problem. So now maybe I
Yeah,
can, but I don't want to.
I like yeah, I was thinking about the same thing you said about the castrati because like the thing with the castrati was a hormonal thing too, and they have these issues with their bodies. Like that's a lot of that people doesn't speak that much, but castratis actually had issues with the development of their bodies because the yeah, they had like this huge chest and like stiff legs, and that was because of the unbalance in the hormones. So was a really, so it's great that you could do your treatment to have like a more like, I'm not saying like a natural development, like yeah, totally. But I think
Better
it's really
quality of life, I would say, because my bones
yeah.
would be horrible. Their bones was always horrible also. So
Can you
there are
give me a
singers that don't do the
can you give me
treatment.
a brief second? Brief second.
Okay, okay.
Like I have to pick up the phone. It's kind of urgent. ¿Aló? Paulinita, ¿estás abajo? ¿Te bajo tus cosas? No, 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 todavía no vienes. Todavía no has llegado. Sí, estoy en la casa, yo voy a estar acá. ¿Me llamas cuando llegas? Ya, yo te espero. ¿Qué cosa? Ya, ya, yo te espero, yo te espero. Llámame cuando llegues. Sí, cuando llegas me llamas. Ya, yo te espero. Chau. So, sorry. Uh, Hi.
Oh, it's okay. I just don't
So,
remember what I was talking about. But
we were talking about the unbalance, hormonal contract and the castrato, but I was
okay.
going to say that it's really important, I think, for voices like yours to be like shown and that people knows about you and your story and your develop as a countertenor because most of the teachers now still doesn't know shit about countertenors, like they don't know a thing, and they have all these like super strong stereotypes about how countertenors work, how their voice should sound, what are their possibilities. Like I have heard many like stories like this thing like the countertenors is like the whole how do you say it in English, Jesus Christ, the whole
The
shit.
larynx,
No, the larynx, no, the cuerdas vocales, the vocal cords, the
vocal
whole vocal
cords.
cords, like they don't like vibe all together, but they're like in this
Yeah.
falsetto position. I have heard that many times, and always sounds pretty weird to me because I like yours. My voice sound like anybody else. Like it doesn't sound like small or anything, or smaller than the average. And when I went also to the doctor, they put also the camera, and I started to sing something from Masane pretty high, and it was like windy,
Vibrating.
like by
And I
vibrating
have the
all
video.
together, and
I have the video, my video on my Instagram. I'm not sure in what
I
story box, but I have my video there. You can see my video. Everyone can see the
and
video.
and you
It's
can see that
there.
it's
It's
all
public.
vibrating together. It's not like they're in a weird position, like close and
Yes.
just this. It's like they're vibrating
And
all
I went
together.
to a treatment to do that with my voice. The plan was for my voice to get lower, like a normal guy. I didn't
Mm,
want to have a career as a countertenor. My objective, not my objective, because I was too young even to choose, but the objective was for me to have a lower voice, like a regular guy, to be like a regular guy. I did achieve it with my physique, with
hmm.
my beard. It's not too much, but I have
That's
some facial hair,
it's cute. It's
some.
cute. I like it.
I have something because it was supposed to be nothing at all.
Mm,
So I tried, and even though with hormonal treatment it didn't work, maybe if I took steroids like
mm,
bodybuilders do, really heavy, not for health reasons. my vocal folds would suffer hypertrophy because it's the first side effect. That's why singers don't be tempted to take steroids because the hypertrophy of the vocal folds is not a good hypertrophy like for your gums.
Okay.
It's a hypertrophy that does not allow you to sing opera. It
Okay.
destroys the voice. It's a
Didn't know
bad
that.
hypertrophy.
I
Yes,
didn't.
it's a really bad
Okay.
one. Even basses. Oh, I can't reach the last B of the piano, so I will take some steroids so I can. My voice will get thicker. The vocal folds will get thicker. More, it will suffer more hypertrophy, and I will be able to sing the lowest one because I'm a bass. Don't do that because it does not work like that. It's a bad hypertrophy, so it's not a good hypertrophy for yourself. So you can control your own
Mm.
range. It's not like that.
And well, since we're coming somehow to a close to the interview, I want to know like where where are you now? What's are the plan? What's coming next? Like what is happening now? I know you're with all these titles that you're the world premieres of this new opera. I don't know why I have this pencil with me. Like I have this new premieres with. I was like, why do I have this thing? Like this premieres. Like does what comes next? Audition, contests, concerts, what?
So I don't have a huge career. I'm not like Bruno. I'm not like Samuel. I'm not like Timon. So I do the stuff I can in my country and around South America. What I'm doing right now mostly are movies, opera movies, working with contemporary composers, which is what pays rent, what's what makes me money,
Hmm.
because Baroque music is not doing that for me. So I'm working with living composers, doing movies and premieres of stuff here in Brazil. I'm doing this movie which is called Realejo de Vida e Morte. I can't translate that to English. Don't ask me that. It's from
Realejo de
Josie de
vida.
Oliveira. She
I
is
don't know
one
what
of the.
realejo is, but from
It's
life
something
and death, but
you
I don't know what.
from life and death. It's something that you. Something like
Like a
that.
music box. Ah, yeah, like the toy, the toy that you
It's not
put it
like
and
the
then the clown.
toys.
Pang. Yeah,
It's
okay,
not
okay.
actually that. It's something close to that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's a cool movie where I'm the protagonist alongside Gabriela Geluda, which is a really high soprano. She just did the Jepopo from um, Ligeti here
oh,
in São Paulo. So she's also what we call in Brazil in the corre doing stuff. She's doing her stuff in the 20th century
hmm.
music and 21st century music, which is what I'm doing mostly. And I'm doing the premiere of the Brazilian premiere of Cantone in Utica. As I told you, I just got the score, so I know nothing about the rule yet. I'm doing also some stuff with Baroque companies around here in the country, but mostly I'm free. If you need a sopranist, get me because I'm cheaper. I can sing the same notes, and I also have the
Oh.
chest songs, and I can surely do a shirtless scene. So, so what I'm doing
All
right
that
now,
sounds so tempting, so tempting.
you can hire me to sing Bach, like the Armadic. I can sing the Armadic and all the alto arias for you, shirtless. Oh, there's something better than that. There's not. So hire me, hire me.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna include this like really hot. Sorry, I'm
Oh,
not
you
sure
have
I'm
no
gonna
audio.
include this like really hot clip that we're living right now. Vas a Evar me dijo. So yeah, no, so wow, I really got distracted by the picture of all that. So I'm gonna keep it together. Yeah, so I like off the record. I love to work together. Like if life happens that you happens to come to Peru, or happens to travel to Brazil, or we meet at some point, I love to meet you in person. You know, like we have know
By
each
the
other.
way, one of my favorite singers of all time is from Peru. which is of course Ima Sumac. Everyone
Oh,
knows.
of course, it's Imasumak. Like it's like the goddess, the Incan goddess. Like
Yes, I know all the
yeah, I love
songs.
um,
I know all the songs.
that. You know that was the soundtrack of a famous TV show here. So I grew up hearing that they bum 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 bum. Hey, yeah,
I love it.
it's
Love
so it's so camp. It's so like over the top, and it's so good. Like technically, like voice, like opera, like it's everything. It's like ridiculous and the most majestic singing, like at the
And
same
she
time, which is
is one of the reasons why I did try to develop my chest voice so much. Because in Tumpa, she sings with
yeah.
that growling in chest. Oh, and then she just did do some stuff that sounds like Mado Robin. So well, look, she has the high notes, but she can't sing the low notes. So why shouldn't I? Because people not gonna say it will ruin your voice. It will not.
Well, that's the magic of her story. Like she grew up in a really not like she doesn't have the interference of the idea of voice teachers, so she really developed. Well, she's a prodigy and she developed herself, but she never limited herself because no one told her like, oh, you're a soprano, you should do this. Like she did, like I wanna do whatever I want. And then when she was already formed, she went to the word like to show what she was, and no one could tell her like, oh no, this is too low. It's like I can do whatever. But no, so right now here, what I'm doing, I'm working mostly in like independent companies, like doing independent opera. It's it's beautiful and hard at the same time, like because I get to sing the roles I really want to sing. We don't have money, so we do the best we get, like really minimalistic production. But the dream, the idea is that sometimes, somehow, somewhere, we're gonna get like the sponsorship, the government support, the money to bring also colleagues from different parts of Latin America. So you're the top of my list, if because what interests me the most is to show off what countertenors can do, which like in Peru there are like three countertenors, like with me,
Oh,
you
we still
know?
have about that. So about four that
Yeah,
have
so if I,
operatic careers too. It's me and Bruno because we are the only ones that are currently always doing opera. But we,
yeah,
we
that when they're more, they're just saying like Renaissance music.
yeah,
So
yeah.
without wanting to sound like like menospreciar, how do you say, like menospreciate? Well, without wanting to sound like it's bad. It's not bad, but I really want to show off what countertenors can do in all repertoires, and you are definitely for me one example. One of the first examples that I think of, like Savio can sing it all, you know, like not just baroque music. So yeah, the day I got money for a production, I'll call you and I said like, honey, I got the tickets. Come here. I'm just gonna do Shirley's Bach, and it's gonna be awesome.
Thank you.
Before we end up, something last that you wanna share? What's your where people can find you, your social media, and if you want to have like this last Miss America moment, like what do you wish for a better word from the countertenors? This is the moment to bring it on.
You guys, you can find me on my Instagram. I don't post much, but I post sometimes some stuff
Hmm.
that I'm doing. I used to post TikToks. I'm going back to post them, but I can't right now because I'm working so much with so many stuff. But I will bring back the TikTok. I will start posting in English because in Portuguese I can reach just a little bit of people because just Brazilian people are not really interested in opera. But you can find me on my Instagram where I post stuff I'm singing. What I would like to say about countertenors or two countertenors or four. I wouldn't say anything for the countertenors. I would say to people that do not like countertenors, that believe we do not have a place in opera. You guys, we love this art form as much as you. As much as you. We don't have to be so mean with each other because it's a rampant problem, mostly on YouTube and Facebook forums. We get old, and when we get old, we sing not as much, not as good as before. So be kind with one another when we get old. Be kind with one another when we are doing a repertoire that you do not like us to do, because you can still buy tickets for a mezzo doing our repertoire if you want. You will not have a problem with that. There are really beautiful careers like Sonia Prina. Sonia Prina do mostly castrati stuff, and she's
Hmm.
doing her stuff. You can find singers like Joyce DiDonato, which does a lot of that. You can still buy tickets to support what you want to hear, but we are still here trying to pay rent, just like you, trying to sing to people just like you. So it's not like something, it's not that deep, you know. So
Hmm.
don't be as mean with us. We are colleagues, because in
Hmm.
opera, even when you were just listening, you were part of the business sometimes, because it's really easy for someone to be part of a choir, of
Hmm.
the orchestra, or someone that always goes to the concert and do some singing lessons now and then. So most of us are in the business. So please don't be so mean with one another on YouTube comments and Facebook posts and so on. So this is my message. Please be
I
kind. We want to pay rent. That's it. Okay?
love it. I love how you say it really kindly, and I was said like, fuck off. Like, let us
Yes. Please.
just fuck off. But thank you so much, sweetie. Like, I really love having you today, and it was really special for me. My first interview in English. I hope I done it well. I love what all you told me, and yeah, till the next time. So. Well, I'm gonna say the goodbye in Spanish for the audience. Bueno, gente, muchas gracias por acompañarnos hoy. Voy a decir esto rápidamente en español. Ya saben que me siguen a mí en las redes, Alonso Tipaqui en Instagram, y vamos a estar posteando más entrevistas. No dejen de seguir a Savio Faschet en Instagram también. Y nada, esperamos por su apoyo. Muchas gracias y que tengan un buen día. Bye.
It was
Um,
great.